Yo, what's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? And welcome back to yet another Ringside Roundup here on the channel, man. For today's Ringside Roundup, our topic today is going to be the February 27th, 2026 episode of WWE SmackDown. So as always, I break down the show, everything that you guys need to know about the show, I discuss in this video. And as always, I give my thoughts on how I felt about the show. Was it good? Was it bad? I let you guys know everything, man. Everything just like that. And as always, down in the comments below is where you guys can leave me your thoughts on the show, whether it's leaving your thoughts on the show, debating my thoughts and how I felt in the show, or leaving your thoughts on anything you want to discuss about the world of professional wrestling. All that can be done down in the comment section. So let's make it a challenge for all of you guys watching this. Do not click off this video until you do leave a comment on the video about whether, like I said, whether just leaving your thoughts on this episode of SmackDown, debating my thoughts, or leaving your thoughts on anything you want to talk about the world of professional wrestling. That is the challenge. You have to do that before you click off the video. If you do click off the video without doing that, you know, you lose the challenge. And who likes losing challenges? Nobody, man. So complete the challenge, do it down in the comments below. Like I said, though, as always, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn post notifications so you never miss an upload. Go follow the socials. Links to those can be found in the description of this video. That includes my Instagram account, my X account, and Duel That Husband of 10. Enough talk. Let's get you guys straight into today's Ringside Roundup. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we would start things off hot tonight. So even before about 10 or so minutes before the show actually started, we would see WWE post a post on I saw on Instagram. For me personally, they would post about a superstar getting attacked backstage, and then finally when the show kicked on, we would see that it was Jey Uso. So Jey Uso would get attacked. We don't know what he got attacked by, who he got attacked by, but we would start the show and we would instantly see a bunch of superstars, pretty much it seemed like the entire locker room plus more, and they're just covered around Jey Uso, who's getting stretchered into an ambulance, in which we would also see Jacob Fatu go in that ambulance. But as of right now, we don't know who that person is that attacked Jey. We don't know much about it at all. The only thing I can say for sure is the do not open box that was sent to WWE that's supposed to be open tomorrow at Elimination Chamber. That was in the background of this whole scenery. So I think whoever attacked Jey Uso is either whoever was in that box, or I think whoever attacked Jey Uso, it's gonna have something to maybe do with the Vision, because as we know, Jey Uso obviously won the Elimination Chamber qualifying match, and it was in the match against Bronson Reed, and I believe, I can't remember who else, but the point is Bronson Reed got injured in that match, and it's like, okay, well, you know, maybe that has something to do with the Vision, but at the end of the day, we really don't know currently, so we'll have to wait more on that, but I will update you guys throughout the video, of course, if we do learn more, you know, as the night goes on, which I'm sure we will. But yeah, so that was it. That happened there, and then we cut straight to the chase. Drew McIntyre, he interrupts, and he pretty much just mocks Jey Uso. He pretty much just says, he walks down to the ring, just mocks Jey Uso, doesn't really care, gonna be the jackass and heel that he is. But then we would then see Nick Aldis come out with some security, just tell Drew, you know, I told you to get out of here, I told you not to be here, especially 24 hours before Elimination Chamber. Get to my office now. And he says that there's 20 other men back there who want to rip, you know, your head off, Drew, and I'm about ready to let them do that. Finally, Drew, he would get out of the ring, because then Cody Rhodes' music would hit, and Drew McIntyre, he would, run up, or, escape towards the back through the crowd, of course, and Cody Rhodes just pretty much just telling Drew that your whole championship reign, all it has been is just you running away like a little bitch. So that was really funny there, really cool to see from Cody. Cody, really pissed off with Drew McIntyre, which, who wouldn't be if you're in Cody Rhodes' position. And then we would see Randy Orton come out, who pretty much is out there just to say that, enough of this bullshit. Basically, I'm focused on tomorrow Elimination Chamber. I'm focused on getting my shot at you, Drew McIntyre. And then he gets in the ring, finally makes his way into the ring, and obviously Cody's in the ring by now, of course. And Randy Orton he's getting ready to say, as far as me and you, Cody, tomorrow night. And then he gets cut off, because then we would see Trick Williams come out, who is obviously another member in tomorrow's Men's Elimination Chamber. Trick Williams basically out there, doing the same thing that, basically Randy was, but he's kind of more, but in this sense, Trick Williams is pretty much adding on to the BS. He comes out there, with his lemon pepper step, with his lemon pepper step is just like usual, pretty much just saying that, obviously he's gonna win, he's gonna be the one that walks out of Elimination Chamber and to go on to face Drew. Then from there, we would then see Javon Evans come out, who is yet another, participant in tomorrow's Men's Elimination Chamber, and pretty much what Javon says is he is, he's looking to become the youngest world heavyweight Cruiserweight champion, you know, before Randy Orton, of course, because obviously Randy Orton, he is currently the, you know, youngest world champion. So basically, you know, Javon wants to break that record, and Javon wants to win the world title. And he also, but then, you know, eventually, Javon, then we would see LA Knight come out, who is also another participant in the men's elimination chamber match tomorrow night. And what was funny is, as LA Knight was making his way down in the ring, he would actually pick up Trick Williams' coat, which he dropped on the entrance ramp. So I think that was pretty funny. But then he finally just, you know, threw it out. But yeah, so LA Knight, he'd get hit into the ring. He's pretty much there for the same thing. He's pretty much just talking about Drew, or mentioned a little bit about Drew. You know, Drew, it's going to be tomorrow night. I'm walking out of the chamber standing tall, and it's going to be me and you for that title at WrestleMania. But then LA Knight, you know, he does his usual thing with everybody saying LA Knight, and then he would get cut off because then Trick Williams, he'd be like, whoop, you know, with everybody saying, then he would say, whoop that Trick. And then LA Knight, this is where things get a little bit funny, in my opinion, is, you know, LA Knight would ask, you know, what did you say? And then Trick Williams would repeat himself. He said, whoop that Trick. And then LA Knight says, okay. And then he just sucker punches Trick Williams, which I think is really funny, man. They're really funny in my opinion, because, you know, obviously whoop that Trick, you know, you get it. But I think that was really funny in my opinion. And then it would all just go down from there, you know. LA Knight and Trick Williams, they would start brawling from there, and then I believe they would brawl into, you know, to the backstage where obviously there's no cameras, or, you know, of course. And then Randy Orton would hit Javon Evans with the sneak attack RKO, and then Cody Rhodes, you know, he would obviously get his, you know, he would become aware again, and he would, you know, have his eyes on Randy Orton. They would have a little bit of a stare down, and then that would pretty much be in the end of the segment. So this is obviously just the last minute, you know, build for the men's elimination chamber match. But like I said, as far as Jey Uso, we really don't know as much as far as him. But, you know, I think this is a really solid opener, really, you know, fires things up, I would say, in my opinion. And like I said in my predictions video for Elimination Chamber, I can't wait for the men's Elimination Chamber match. That's definitely one of the more hyped matches that I'm hyped for tomorrow night for sure. So yeah, I think this was a solid opener. Definitely put some fuel in the fire, just for, you know, tonight's show, and obviously, of course, tomorrow's show with the men's Elimination Chamber and just Elimination Chamber as a whole. So I think this is a really solid opener. Let me know what you guys think down below, but I for one think it was a really fire opener. All right, now moving on, we would jump into Solo Sikoa versus Uncle Howdy, and what I actually really enjoyed this match, man. I really freaking liked this match. I felt like the action was there, the pace was there. I really loved the pace. I loved the action. I felt like this might have been a slow match, could have been a slow match, but I think it was actually really solid, man. Really enjoyed this. There was multiple times where it was like, okay, we would see a major move from one superstar. So let's say, for example, Solo, he does a move to Uncle Howdy where it's like, oh, okay, Solo's really gonna win here. But then, you know, maybe Uncle Howdy would kick out. There was a few moments like that in this match, which are moments that I enjoy in matches. And like I said, this match had that. Therefore, another reason why I just really enjoyed this match. You know, it was, I would say it was kind of, compared to, like, considering who won, I would argue it was kind of unpredictable, because I actually thought Solo was going to win this one, and, you know, he's going to keep the lantern, which we'll talk about right now. But Uncle Howdy would actually win this one, because Solo Sikoa, I believe he was going to go for a running attack from the corner to Uncle Howdy, but he would run into a Sister Abigail by Uncle Howdy, I believe, and then Uncle Howdy lands the Sister Abigail, 1, 2, 3, and then match is over. And then Uncle Howdy, he stumbles out of he crawls out of the ring, and he makes his way over to the lantern, because now he has it back in his hands, but not for long. I don't even know if he held it for a minute, because then we would see the other MFT. They would come from the fans, and I believe Tala Tonga would deliver a big boot to Uncle Howdy. So, you know, that, and then the MFT just take possession of the lantern again. So I feel like we're probably in store for a few more moments like that, where the Wyatt Six, or, you know, they literally have it in their hands, like the lantern, I should say. But then it just, you know, falls flat, because the MFT just get it back, you know, in like within a minute after they hold it. I feel like we're going to see a lot of moments like that for up until, of course, WrestleMania, because I really feel like this is going to go on until WrestleMania, where at WrestleMania, of course, is where the Wyatt Six actually do get the lantern back. It would make the most sense, I would say, in my opinion. But obviously, that's besides the point, man. Back just to the overall match. I liked this match. I think it was awesome. I would definitely like to see this match for sure again, which obviously I have no doubt in my mind that we will, you know, that we're not going to get this match again. We're most likely going to get this match again for sure. So, like I said, for the most part, I really enjoyed this one. Let me know how you guys feel about it, but I, for one, really did enjoy this one. Moving on, we would jump into Tiffany Stratton versus what was supposed to be Asuka, but Asuka and Kyrie would come out, and Asuka pretty much just says that, you know, she wants to stay prepared for Elimination Chamber, and she feels that it's in her best interest that she doesn't compete. So, therefore, Tiffany Stratton will be facing Kyrie Sane. Gotta be honest, this is just a match, even if it was Tiffany versus Asuka, this is just kind of my I don't really care match that I kind of just really just scroll on my phone. I will say I did look up, you know, periodically. I will say there was one cool spot that I did catch between, I believe it was Kyrie. It was, I mean, obviously it was Kyrie and Tiffany, and it was on the outside on the apron of the ring, and there was like a really cool, like, kind of like a suplex style of move, which ended up leaving Tiffany Stratton to get dropped on her head on the apron, which is a really cool move. I will say that for sure. So I will give him props for that, but overall, for the most part, I'm not really care. I just really did not care for this match personally. This is just the match where it's like, you know, I'm gonna hop on my phone. I'm gonna wait till we got something interesting, you know, happening, you know, because obviously I think here the winner is very obvious in Tiffany Stratton, which is exactly what happened. Tiffany would get the win here, and I say it's obvious because, well, Tiffany has, you know, Elimination Chamber tomorrow. She's gonna obviously go in with, I would argue, some momentum, and if she wants momentum, she would have to win this match, and, you know, that's, like I said, exactly what happened. So there was just no way I saw Kyrie winning this, and, you know, exactly she didn't. So that's kind of another reason why I'm just like, you know, okay, this is kind of just for me like a filler match, so it is what it is. I'm gonna go hop on my phone, like I said. But if I don't know, let me know how you guys felt about this. Did you really care for it? Did you not? Like I said, I will give him that one spot for sure that I did see. I think that was really cool, but other than that, I can't really talk too much on this match just because, you know, quite frankly, I didn't really care for it, you know. But let me know how you guys felt about this match down in the comments. All right, moving on, we make our way into Obafemi versus The Miz, and The Miz, he instantly tries to back out of this one. He goes to the outside of the ring, grabs a mic, tries to go back in the ring, and well, first he says, you know, it doesn't have to basically go down like this. He tries to enter back in the ring. Obafemi does stop him with his boot. He stops The Miz with the mic, and then Obafemi takes the mic that The Miz had, and he says, you know, and he tells, you know, The Miz to grab your own mic. Miz grabs his own mic, and then pretty much what The Miz tries to do is he just tries to win over Obafemi, says that, you know, The Miz can be his locker room leader, The Miz can be his Undertaker, if you will. That's actually quite literally what The Miz said. So yeah, he wants to pretty much just do exactly what he did with Carmelo Hayes, with, you know, being the him, you know, all that stuff. But this time he actually wants to be the Awesome Rulers. That doesn't work out very well, you know, because Obafemi says that, you know, I don't see you. I mean, you know, I don't really see a resemblance between you and the Undertaker, but I do see you as a dead man. And then he ultimately does decide to leave the decision up to, you know, Louisville, Kentucky. He pretty much just says, "Do you want to see the Awesome Rulers?" And, you know, obviously they quite literally boo that idea. And then Obafemi says, "Well, it looks like The Miz, you're dead." And then pretty much then it's literally just a beatdown of The Miz. I mean, just like every other Obafemi match we've had so far in the main roster, it's a squash. I mean, The Miz almost gets a skull-crushing finale in, but Obafemi, you know, he's too strong, man. Obafemi's a big-ass freaking dude. He absolutely crushes The Miz, man, and then he gets that 1-2-3 at the end of the day, locks up The Miz, and Obafemi is your winner here as expected, but still really cool to see Obafemi once again, man. Really enjoying Obafemi. You know, obviously I will eventually at some point, I'm really going to want to see some competition for Oba, but, you know, at the end of the day, when are we actually going to get that? Probably WrestleMania, I would say. I feel like maybe, I mean, we could see it before. We could see some real competition for Obafemi before that, but I feel like we're probably going to get the ultimate competition for Femi, obviously at WrestleMania, when hopefully he actually answers Brock Lesnar's open challenge. But, you know, that's besides the point, man. As far as everything that happened here, you know, solid in my opinion, you know, because it's, you know, it's really cool to see Obafemi just continue to squash, you know, guys like The Miz week after week, in my opinion. So that's really cool. Let me know how you guys felt about this, but I, for one, actually thought it was pretty cool. All right, moving on, we will make our way over to the United States Men's Open Challenge. Obviously, walking in as champion would be Carmelo Hayes, and who did take the call, man? Who took the opportunity? It would be none other than Matt Cardona. And I will say, this match, while it was good, still definitely not the best US Open Challenge that we have seen from Carmelo Hayes. Like I keep saying week after week, the best one that we have, in my opinion, seen from Carmelo Hayes was, I believe it was, I'm pretty sure it was it Leon Slater? I think it was Leon Slater, but I may be wrong on that. But there was one of the U.S. Open challenge matches that was just so freaking good, and I still stick with that till this day as far as Carmelo Hayes' U.S. title run, U.S. Open Challenge run goes, of course. But still, it was still a solid match. But there's also that other thing that going into this match where it's like, okay, well, Matt Cardona's been getting buried pretty much, I mean, literally for a good while by now, since he's been back in the WWE with everything that he's doing. With he comes out and tries to help out Ilya Dragunov, but then just gets freaking destroyed. So it's like, how can you really think that guy that gets destroyed pretty much every week, on a weekly basis? How do you make the argument that he's actually going to win this here? That's why it's like that's another thing where it's like, why have him take the challenge when he's like getting squashed, it seems like, week after week. So I also kind of was putting that in my perspective on how I view this match as well. So this is kind of just another match as well where it's like, I think it's really obvious that Carmelo Hayes is going to win here, which, obviously he did. But, I mean, overall, like I said, the match still in ring perspective was pretty solid. I can't deny that, for one bit, of course. But at the end of the day, like I said, Carmelo Hayes would stand tall here, and that's really all you got to know, man. All right, moving on, we would make our way to Jordynne Grace versus Candice LeRae. We're not going to talk about this one too long. Jordynne Grace, obviously, she's not going to lose to a star like Candice LeRae. Not much else to really know here. Obviously, Jordynne Grace wins this one. Not much else to the match. Do we really care about this match? I personally don't. I feel like most of you probably feel the same way. Yeah, not much else you gotta know here. And yeah, Jordynne Grace wins. All you gotta know, man. All right, moving on, we would make our way to a really awesome match, man, and also kind of a shocking match. We would jump into Rio. So obviously, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky walking in as the women's tag team champions and defending against the irresistible forces, that being Nia Jax and Lash Legend. Really, really enjoyed this match, man. I mean, this match was overall just a great back and forth, man, which I really freaking enjoyed. This match wasn't just over, within the snap of a finger, man. This match had some depth to it. It, actually went on for a solid amount of time, man, and that really allowed for a really awesome match, I would say, as far as time goes, because it just, in my opinion, it just shows that, these teams, obviously, they're both such strong teams that it's gonna take more than just obviously a snap of a finger to take one another down. That's kind of how I feel about. That's kind of how I kind of felt about this match, which is obviously a good thing, of course. But overall, solid stuff, man. I mean, from both sides. I mean, Lash Legend and Nia Jax looked very freaking amazing in this match. So did Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. I mean, everybody, every team, every person individually just overall looked very great in this match. But this was a very shocking match, as I mentioned, and I say that, well, for two reasons. Well, we would get to the end and we would actually see new freaking champions, man. I knew Lash Legend and Nia Jax were eventually going to win these titles. They were probably going to be the ones, yes, to take it from Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, but I wasn't thinking they were going to do that until literally WrestleMania, and here we are. What about a month and a half before WrestleMania, and they're already champions, man. So that's really crazy. And not only just that shocking, what's also shocking to me is the fact that Rhea Ripley's the one that got pinned, and who pinned her? Well, Lash freaking Legend pinned her. Now, yes, you can say this is a tag match, so it's like, well, she had help, which is true, but still, Lash Legend pinned Rhea freaking Ripley, man. That's a big accomplishment, I would say, and that's going to be something that Lash Legend can, really build upon, I would say, over the next few, for a good while, man. I mean, she pinned Rhea Ripley. I mean, dude, Rhea Ripley's probably the most over woman in WWE right now, and for a rookie like Lash Legend to pin her, that's huge, man. And not only just to pin her, but pin her to become a tag team champion, I would say that's pretty huge, man. So I think, and specifically, Lash Legend came out of this match looking like $1 million. But you guys, let me know, how do you feel about this? Do you like that we have new champs? I personally think it's cool. I just wasn't expecting it to happen this early, so I'm actually gonna question a little bit, what's next for the women's titles, at least as far as WrestleMania goes. Are they going to continue to feud with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky? I could see that, but then again, who knows? Let me know how you guys feel about this. I personally thought this was a great match, but it also had some shocking stuff in there, in my opinion. But like I said, let me know your thoughts on how you guys felt about this match down below. But I, for one, thought this was a pretty awesome match, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen, we have finally made it to our main event of the night, which would take place between Jacob Fatu versus Logan Paul, and the stakes were for this match, whoever wins this match would be the one to replace Jey USO in the men's elimination chamber. So this match only gets interesting really about to the end, so we're going to cut straight to the chase because you guys want to know, and we need to discuss, obviously, not only, well, who is going to take the spot, well, and there's a few other things that happen in this match that we're definitely going to need to discuss here. So we get towards the end of the match. Logan Paul is on the outside, and we come out and we get to this we get to the moment where we have what's supposed to be portrayed as the Masked Man, which is clearly not the Masked Man. It's some guy that's trying to be dressed as the Masked Man, did a terrible job. And Logan Paul even unmasks him. It's some random guy that I will probably guarantee WWE just found off Craigslist. I mean realistically, just some random guy. They unmask him, and then they take him back. We all know that is not the Masked Man, so I'm gonna say, as far as the Masked Man goes, I am honestly confused on what's going on with the Masked Man now. At this current point in time, I'm really confused on what's going on with the Masked Man, because I was thinking that, okay, so we have this we have this fake Masked Man right here that gets unmasked by Logan Paul, but then maybe afterwards, then we're actually going to see the real Masked Man, but that did not happen. So as far as the Masked Man, I really don't know what to say anymore. I don't know what to think who the Masked Man really is anymore. I know I was very confident, but now I'm kind of starting to think, I honestly still do think it's inevitably going to be Seth Rollins, but as far as how it plays out to, reveal it's Seth Rollins, I'm going to say I don't know how that's going to play out anymore. I will be completely honest. But then afterwards, we would get back in the ring, Jacob Fatu and Logan Paul back in the ring. I believe Jacob Fatu was going to go for his moonsault that he usually does to obviously solidify his spot tomorrow, but he gets to the top of the turnbuckle, and then lo and behold, Drew McIntyre clobbers Fatu with the title. Ref doesn't see it. Logan Paul does take the advantage here. Ref gets in the ring. 1, 2, 3. Logan Paul is going on to the Elimination Chamber, but this actually sets up big things for the WrestleMania main event, man. Like I said, like I've mentioned before, and like I mentioned in my Elimination Chamber predictions videos, in my prediction video, everything's falling into place, man. We needed Drew McIntyre to get involved here and cost Fatu in this match, and that's exactly what happened. And we needed that for one reason in specifically, because now Jacob Fatu is not going on to Elimination Chamber for the second time because of Drew McIntyre. He costed him in his first match, and he costed him in his second match to, try to get to the chamber. But now this is going to solidify, I think, Jacob Fatu's spot at either way at WrestleMania. And as I mentioned in my prediction video, I'll mention what I mentioned there a little bit, where I think that tomorrow night at the Elimination Chamber, that Drew McIntyre is either going to attack Randy Orton or Cody Rhodes, and whichever, let's say he does attack like Cody Rhodes, then I feel like Randy Orton's going to win the chamber. Randy goes on to WrestleMania, but throughout that build, I think Cody Rhodes and Fatu are going to be added to that kind of thing. I think that's how it's really going to work, man. So, and I think that just continues to get even more, locked in with this match, because that wouldn't really be in effect anymore if McIntyre didn't, if McIntyre really didn't obviously interfere in this match. And thankfully he did, and the fact that he did continues to lock in that main event prediction for WrestleMania, in my opinion. So I don't know, you guys picking up what I'm putting down? You guys understand what I'm saying? Because that's kind of seeing as that McIntyre got involved here, costed Fatu, just only continues to show that that's most likely what our WrestleMania main event is going to be, probably for, I would say, for sure night one. But yeah, I mean, overall this match really interesting as far as the Masked Man goes, but really cool ending, because it just continues to, it edges us even closer to finally getting that, or to, officially getting that fatal 4-way main event at WrestleMania, and what I think is, it's inevitably bound to be, for sure, of course, in my opinion. But yeah, that's really my final thoughts here. Let me know how you guys do feel about this main event. Do you guys think it was good? Do you guys feel the same way about me as far as the WrestleMania main event goes? Do you think that, Drew should have gotten involved here? Do you think he shouldn't have not have gotten involved? Let me know all that down in the comments below. But I, for one, do think Drew should have gotten, or it's a good thing that he did get involved involved, and overall, I think this was a very solid main event, you know, to end off the night, but definitely still some things in question as far as how the Masked Man is really going to play out now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, that is going to wrap up today's Ringside Roundup for this week's episode of SmackDown. As always, I hope you guys did enjoy it. And just ranking this episode of SmackDown, man, I would say it was all right. You know, some things were good, some things weren't. I will say it was a bit interesting to see what all that stuff with Jey USO and how that played out throughout the night. I will say that for sure. But like I said, be sure to leave me your thoughts on how you guys did feel about this episode of SmackDown down in the comments below. And I want to say one more thing: do not make sure you turn on post notifications, man, because tomorrow we will be doing a full coverage and review on tomorrow night's Elimination Chamber, man. You are not going to want to miss that review, man. So stay tuned. Turn on post notifications if you're new here, or even if you're subscribed but you don't have post notifications on. Make sure you turn those on so that way you do not miss my full review for tomorrow on the Elimination Chamber for 2026, man. Because I think we're in store for a pretty big Elimination Chamber. So stay tuned on the channel for that review, man. But like I said, hope you guys did enjoy this video. Leave me your thoughts on how you guys did feel about this episode of SmackDown. Like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, follow the socials. You can find links to those in the description of this video. That includes my Instagram account, my X account, JoelHusband10, and I will see you guys tomorrow for Elimination Chamber. Peace.